I wonder if Carl Anthony Towns was watching that.
No.
Oh, gosh,
Greeny.
It's not
He's positive today. Glass half full.
Not what he's good at.
Game day.
The great Michael Wilbon is here, D. Wood and Jay Will, and we got Jeff Darlington up early. Looks like it's a nice day in Fort Lauderdale as we have rain for the 32nd consecutive day. All right, we begin with the game of the night, or maybe I should say the quarter of the night, because that's all that really mattered last night in OKC.
The first
SGA
quarter.
and the Thunder looking to put it away, and Jay, they would make quick, and I mean quick, work of the T-Wolves.
I mean, everybody talked about how Minnesota needed to come out and play defense, and once again, it was the calling card for OKC, forcing 21 turnovers in this game. This game was over in the first 5 minutes.
It literally was. Sometimes we use that as an expression. In this case, it was reality. SGA scored or assisted 24 of OKC's 26 first quarter points. The Timberwolves had 9. That's right, 9.
9 1/4, Greeny. That's crazy.
In the first quarter with their season on the line, that's not much of a fight. Meanwhile, SGA, Michael, had 34 points on 25 shots.
If he'd scored 5 points last night, they still would have won that game.
It's true.
Handily, as we used to say, Greeny.
Look at them probing. That would give them a 30-point lead in the third quarter. We're still in the third. SGA, its defense, their defense is just so good. SGA would finish with 34, 7 rebounds, 8 assists. Chet Holmgren added 22. SGA is the West Conference Final MVP as OKC wins going away. And so Shai Gilgeous-Alexander scoring 30 or more in all 3 series-clinching wins for the Thunder this postseason. He would set the NBA record if he were to do it again in the finals. Look at the company he already keeps. Three that we thought was going to be around for a really long time are headed to the NBA Finals. Monica Jay, and we begin with the Hall of Famer. Michael, what do we say on this morning as the Thunder punch a very convincing ticket to the final?
They now know what they can do. They know their potential. I'm not going to say full potential because it's going to move. It's going to evolve and change. But they know now. This is like watching a great team and all of a sudden they're playing their way and they wake up one morning and go, are you serious? Like we have this in us. You could see it going back to the Warriors, back to when they lost a game 7 to the Clippers in like 2014. And then in that 15 season where it just all started to click. And it's like, oh my goodness, they're going to be unstoppable. Oklahoma
Just inevitability. And the core of SGA Chet and Jalen Williams is more complementary than the KD, Russ, Harden era ever was. And that's no shot to them. It's just a reflection based upon the trust, the balance, and the culture that is established. This just feels like it's a system built to last for a long time throughout the season.
Monica, as I turn to you, let me just put up A19 to give everyone a sense of just how young this Oklahoma City team actually is. Average age, 25.6 years old. Weighted by playing time, they're the youngest team to reach the finals. Michael, you'll appreciate this. Since the Bill Walton Trailblazers in 1977. Give you an idea, I was 10 years old when that team was playing, and I'm ancient now. So that's how long it has been. They're incredibly young. How about this OKC team?
I think, too, and watching their responses on the podium with Lisa Salters, all of them, Coach Dagnall as well, the moment where you see them all sort of get emotional, right? Like, and they're sort of fighting back. I wouldn't say full-on tears, but you can tell that the weight, the gravity of what they've achieved. And SGA talked about it. I had a game earlier this season. The Thunder were in Milwaukee. It was a regular season game, Greeny. But we're talking to Coach Dagnall, and he's like, you know, I love where this team is and the potential that they have. But these guys don't get enough credit for their buy-in when you couldn't see the promise necessarily as closely as you can this season. And so you talk about culture setters in SGA, the addition of Jalen Williams, how well Chet Holmgren has fit. But even Coach Dagnall talked about a guy like Lou Dort, who completely bought into his role on this particular team. So there is so much I guess, joy and selflessness about this group. It's really
Well, but see, that selflessness, to me, and this stands out, and Jay Will, you hit on this. There's no thought, argument, drama about whose team it is.
because it's very clear.
And that happened in Oklahoma City. Let's be honest about it. Okay, that's not happening here. Do you see how they look at SGA? The reverence they have for him? That doesn't seem to me to be something that will be threatened, to Jay Will's point, in the next few years. They have an order and they're fine with it.
And he reciprocates it. You heard him. Without my guys, I'm nothing. That's exactly what you want. You asked the question, what does Vegas expect of the next round, Cindy? Let's show them May 17. And for those of you who don't speak gambling, this is a remarkable number. The Thunder are minus 600 favorites to win the championship right now at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. The Pacers, you see the numbers, are plus 525. The Knicks, if you think they can rally, you get almost 30 to 1 on them right now.
Mike, to his credit, think about what Sam Presti went through with that team, with KD, with Russ, with James, watching that implode in real time. The fact that, he's been a GM since 2007. There was a clip a couple of years ago where LeBron was like, yo, he's the one in the game. He's stockpiling.
Morning, their record on the season now, they're like 80-18 or something like that. I'll get that confirmed. But one way or another, the other side of this, Anthony Edwards, after the game last night, back-to-back tough games for Ant-Man with his season on the line. And afterwards, his reaction was this.
It's exciting. I don't know why people would think it would hurt. I mean, it's exciting for me. I'm 23. I get to do it a whole bunch of times. I'm hurt more so for myself, for Mike. I came up short for Mike. Like I said, we tried last year. We couldn't get it. We tried again this year. We're going to try again next year. But hurting is a terrible word to use. I'm good, yeah.
So the Mike he's talking about is Mike Conley, who's sitting right there and looks devastated. Because he's coming close to the end of his career.
Because he was.
And there's Ant-Man. There's a lot of reaction to that response. What did you think of it?
Ant-Man's 23. I don't overreact too much to what players say, particularly after what's a devastating loss. We know Ant-Man well enough now to know he doesn't want to appear. He's too cool to be showing hurt. And if that's his reaction to it, Monica, you know what? I'm okay with it. Look, I've been around the greatest players in the last 40 years, and they did show hurt. I've been around Magic after he lost. I've been around Michael after he lost. Been around watching Larry Bird after he lost some of those playoff games, and they did show the hurt, but not everybody does. There have been other players who didn't show it as much, who didn't want to reveal of themselves in the moment. Didn't mean they don't hurt. It's like the other day, Ant said, I didn't struggle. Yeah, you did struggle. Yeah, you were made to struggle. So I don't care what he says. I'm more concerned with what he does now in this offseason, moving forward to avoid that again.
This sound is far more alarming if he does not acknowledge his teammates. But he is right in that he's got lots of runway ahead of him. I do also think that if you want to get picky in terms of words, there is a lot to revel in and learn from in this experience. So whether he's hurt or not, or excited about the opportunity to come back and be better and to prove that he's who we all think he has the potential to be, like, if you want to play that game, I mean, I'm not tripping off this sound either.
Well, that's why I think a couple days ago when I said I think the coronation was premature, a lot of people started to run with that, right? But that wasn't a shot. It was just about what Mike and I talked about. There are steps in the process. And I think this is one of those steps in how he answers certain questions. And that comes through with experience and maturity. Can I tell you something else that's come through with experience and maturity?
Yeah.
I think Anthony Edwards overexerts too much energy on offense. Now, people are going to say that's crazy, But when you're facing up and you're trying to beat people off the dribble, and OKC is playing gaps and they're having 2 7-footers in there, you're trying to finish over. His game is going to go to the next level if he starts digging into tape of Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant and D Wade. As soon as this dude starts to learn how to play with his back to the basket and he starts walking you down on certain blocks of the court, he's going to see that double team coming over the left shoulder. He can make kick passes. He can then repost. That is the missing link to his game. And when his game goes there, then he becomes that Michael Jordan, that Kobe Bryant type of player.
Listen, it's going
to happen.
I'm fine with that.
It's going to happen.
I guess to some degree, I don't care what he says afterwards either. But let's face it, his team went out with no fight last night.
None.
Literally none. Season on the line. This is a team they're not that young. They're not the Thunder. This is their second consecutive year in this spot. This was a series that they went into thinking they could win. They put up zero fight last night.
They did. You're right. They were overwhelmed.
100%.
They got smothered.
This is like watching Michael Spinks walk in the ring against Mike Tyson.
Yeah. So this team is
They were overwhelmed.
You're saying this OKC team is
We're
that
starting
good.
to see now. They know they're that good. That you showed this yesterday. When you have to twist and turn and have multiple screens set for you just to get to mid-court, if you're Ant-Man, they're passing him from one all-defensive player to another to Cason Wallace, who will be, and you got 4 all-defensive guys worthy of that anyway. And Ant-Man's got to go through that just to get a shot off. With 6 seconds left on the shot clock, he's relieved to get a shot off.
Yeah.
They were overwhelmed.
Mike, do you know how hard it is in an NBA game? And think about when you see this. How many times do you see somebody picking up somebody else full court? And make them turn 3 or 4 times. Lou Dort was on him full court.
Lou Dort.
Turn him 3 times. Like, that's the key to Indiana. That's the key to Indiana, right? And Tyrese Halliburton.
Lou Dort wears the number 5. He should put a 7 after it. That guy's a linebacker. He should wear number 57.
And by the way, he picked the score was like
it was
7-3.
Exactly.
It was the game. You're picking him up, so you know you're going to drive him out of his mind, and they did.
The Thunder getting the credit they deserve. We tried to tell y'all all season, Greedy.
Well, look, Denver took them to 7 tough games, and
then they lost. It's gonna be tough.
Did not put not so tough last night. As we continue, Caleb finally opens up about all the talk that he didn't want to be.
You're gonna get me all in trouble here, girl.
In Chicago.
Wilbon.
Michael Wilbon will have his reaction coming up. Plus, is the guy who was drafted after Caleb about to have an even better season than last year? We'll give you big reasons why we could see a sophomore slump in Washington.
It's a jump, Greedy. It's a jump.
We'll see. We'll debate it next. Get up on the
I better talk nice about my guy.
Pause for the facts. She's shopping for a used car, but she doesn't know that nearly half of them have been in an accident. Luckily, Carfax shows how accidents impact price, so she doesn't have to overpay. Unpause. Whoa,
This is cool.
Shop the all-new Carfax.com.
All my ladies roll your deal like this. When you move your body, feel confident. All my ladies try this deal real quick.